Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home.
That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby.
You know, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You're the blackest one in this room.
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border. And then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on American soil. So he became the anchor baby. You don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, I'm the American Anchor Baby, and this is my show. Thank you for tuning in. I do appreciate it on this fine Thursday, Bible Thumper Thursday, Hake Report Thursday. Joel, finishing it off here. We got American Anchor Baby, and you're all tuning in from Joel's chat. Thank you so much. A couple things on my mind today. A couple videos playing in my head. There's a couple videos rolling around in there. A couple things on my mind. We're going to do it together. We're going to get through it. We're going to wade through the murky waters of the Anchor Baby's mind, and hopefully amidst all the facts and misinformation even maybe, we'll find some truth. Okay. Thank you for tuning in. You can call in 888-775-3773. I got the foreign aid bill on my mind, mainly for bigger picture reasons. We'll get into it a little bit here, but some thoughts about immigration and things that I think you might find interesting coincides maybe even with some of the talk yesterday. Birth rates, men and women, they hate each other. They say they love each other. And I think it might be at the center of some of this, low birth rate stuff. Something's not working. What makes babies, families? We'll get into all of that. I think you'll find it interesting. So I do appreciate it. What else? Before we get going, you want to be subscribed. You want to hit the like button. You want to hit the notification bell because you want to be notified when your plane is taking off. You don't want to miss it. You want to be on the plane. You want to be taking off. Whether you're a baller or not, it's going to be a nice flight tomorrow. Don't miss it. A lot of talk about flights. Dangers. So dangerous, we might even get into that a little bit. Is it truly dangerous? By the numbers and what's happening with Boeing. I've mentioned it before, but I think you'll find this interesting. Still. All right. I think we did our homework. After 3 hours of pure unfiltered loosey-goosiness. Don't worry, we'll be loosey and goosey with it. I don't know if I can be too serious on such a nice Thursday. Having a good time. Enjoying the shows. Doing our work. Thursday. It's not the weekend just yet, but we're getting ready. Don't live for the weekend. But I appreciate you tuning in. So you already know maybe a little bit. Foreign aid. Or maybe you just hear this and you're like, which one, Nick? Foreign aid this, war that. They keep fighting. Did they fund the government? Where's the money going? I don't even care at this point. And I don't blame you. You might enjoy being informed a little bit. Yesterday, Mike Johnson, House Speaker, unveiled 3 foreign aid bills setting up a showdown with far-right Republicans. That's the skim, by the way, calling them far-right Republicans. Just so you know, it's a bunch of women. Remember, these far-right Republicans and their far-right ideas, just off the deep end far-right ideas like, I don't really want to have a big old war, and we kind of want to fix the border, kind of. I say kind of want to because even the Republicans, you know very well, they don't really care. They don't really care. It's funny how Congress, how do I put this? It's like mom and dad are fighting, and mom and dad both have taken on, they've taken a side on a conflict, and they both think they're morally superior to the other side, that they have they're coming at it from a different way, so they're morally justified in supporting their war. The Republicans, like, you want to give money to Ukraine, even though they lie. They do want to give money to Ukraine for reasons. But you guys want to keep a war going and just give all this money to Ukraine? I don't know. But then on Israel, the story flips, and mom is like, oh, you want to give all this money to Israel and you don't want to give it to Ukraine. And I think when you put it under scrutiny a little bit, mom and dad don't seem like they really care about basic things, like the things they're saying, like peace and justice and democracy. Mom and dad are lying. Mom and dad are pretending, and mom is lying through her teeth, just saying whatever to get whatever she wants. And dad thinks he's standing for the right thing just because he's opposing mom, but he hates mom, and it's all a mess. Oh man, and it goes a little deeper if you are into all the politics. But look, can we just calm down a little bit? We're gonna keep it simple. Because maybe I'm a little simple, and you could call in and correct me on anything that we're going to talk about. Of course, 888-775-3773. I'll tell you the news. I'll tell you my opinion. We'll try and keep it clear. The measures, which total $95 billion, include assistance for Israel, Ukraine, and Taiwan. So they split up the bills. They've been fighting over it, and now they split them up. So in hopes that we could get them through for reasons. And you know maybe a little bit about this fight. And the part that gets me, just to skip all this, okay, because you get it. They got the aid. They're doing the aid. The wars are getting their money. Nobody cares about America. That's really the point. And this showdown that they keep fighting over, where it was McConnell, Mitch McConnell, he's not doing it. Get him out of here. We're putting Mike Johnson, but it even goes even farther before that. It goes way before that. Okay, so they're giving the money, and no talk about the border. Well, a little bit of talk about the border. Johnson also plans to bring a vote on a border security measure in what appears to be an effort to appease GOP hardliners. Well, right on, Mike Johnson. I gotta say, anything besides full-on shutdown of the border and mass deportations is telling me you don't really care about the issue. Like, either you're not equipped, or you're just out of your depth, or you don't understand, and you're just like, okay, we got to deal with immigration a little bit, right? But legal immigration, it's all great, all that. We're way past that. We're way, way, way past that. Okay. Oh, and more news from this. From the skim here, the Democratic-led Senate dropped 2 impeachment articles against Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. You probably heard about that too. But the big controversy with that is that the Senate. So the House is like, they have this right or whatever to put forth these articles of impeachment, an accusation of sorts, right, which requires a court proceeding, whatever, a trial. And the Senate's like, we're just going to ignore that. Democratic-led Senate dropped 2 impeachment articles. So that's the controversy, is that they dropped it without a trial. It's supposed to be, them's the rules. Hey, we're the House. We believe this is what's going on. Now it's time for you guys to investigate it. We all agree it is. Anyways, so that's the news with Congress. They continue to fight. Nothing happens. Yet they get the money where they got to go, right? The money's going where it's got to go. except the border. And you get me, right? Soft positions on this, it just doesn't matter anymore. But let me play a little clip for you. It's Mike Johnson on this. Mommy and daddy fighting. And their views on morality. I want to play this clip, Mike Johnson, on how he's seeing the world stage right now. And the reasonings behind the money, where it's going and why. Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House.
I'm doing here what I believe to be the right thing. I think providing lethal aid to Ukraine right now is critically important. I really do. I really do believe the intel and the briefings that we've gotten that I believe Xi and Vladimir Putin and Iran really are an axis of evil. I think they're in coordination on this. I think that Vladimir Putin would continue to march through Europe if he were allowed. I think he might go to the Balkans next. I think he might have a showdown with Poland or one of our NATO allies. To put it bluntly, I would rather send bullets to Ukraine than American boys. My son is going to begin in the Naval Academy this fall. This is a live fire exercise for me, as it is so many American families. This is not a game. It's not a joke. We can't play politics of this. We have to do the right thing. And I'm going to allow an opportunity for every single member of the House to vote their conscience and their will on this. And I think that's the way this institution is supposed to work. And I'm willing to take personal risk for that because we have to do the right thing, and history will judge us.
Boo! Vote your conscience and your will. Boo! What do you mean? Thanks, Lil Nick. Appreciate that. Boo! Vote your conscience and your will. Your conscience's will is apparently informed by intel. I believe the intel. And it's the axis of evil. And I'm going to avoid getting too deep into complicated things that I don't even care that much about and know too much. But I want to give you my sort of like bird's eye view of it. And you can tell me where I'm wrong. But when they say stuff like that, oh, Putin, if allowed, he would just continue to march. Isn't that what America did? Didn't they continue to march? And Putin was like, hey, man, please, don't do that. All right, okay, fine. You crossed that line. You're getting close. You're putting missiles nice and close to my area here. I don't like it. Okay, I'll put another red line in the sand. Don't do it. I'm reading Wikipedia articles. What the heck do I know, right? Wikipedia articles, they'll say this very clearly. You source it yourself. Do your own research. I don't know what to tell you. But it's not at least, what I'm trying to say is it's not at least disputed history. And it's recent history. So it's not really in dispute. And maybe my conclusion is wrong. You can call me, 888-775-3773. But come on. I'm supposed to go along with big things, like he said. That's not playing around. These are bullets being fired and ever closer open conflict with major powers. And I'm supposed to go along with the conscience of Congress, the heart of Congress. I don't know. I really don't even want to get too far into that. I've talked about it even at length, I think, last week, a number of times here. And I do see your calls coming in, about to get to you. But I wanted to pivot here just quick, and then we'll get to calls. Because this is immigration and all that is the topic. And I was thinking about, I've mentioned this I've just mentioned this a couple of times. Put it out there as something I've been smoking on and thinking about. So without getting too complicated, again, people can help me out here. This is my bird's eye view of this. Because people ask why, right? They're pouring in. Oh, well, okay, Americans feel bad. And that is a huge thing. Don't discount that. Yeah, the people, Americans think they are good, that they are the shining city on the hill. They think many things. They think they are not racist. They're fighting against racism. They think many things, but they think of themselves as good, or at least not that bad, right? You can't discount just how powerful that is in the people as an explanation to many things, really. I've said it before. This female-oriented society can't help but feel bad for the least among us. But what people fail to realize is the least among us are usually there for a reason. And this is not a condemnation. You got to understand that all the people who judge a homeless person or a drug addict or whatever, the tragic comedy of that is they're in their own hell judging that person whose hell is so overt and visible. So don't get me wrong there, but you can't forget the society's veneration of these least among us. What they're also doing is ignoring and justifying what got them there, the evil spirit in the head and their evil heart, their desires that are born out of this ego that's made a home in them. You following me? So, of course, a society that feels bad and venerates the least among us will invariably make criminals, egotistical people, liars, drug addicts, emotional people, people who feel bad. By the way, these activist type people, they're like the worst types. Well, guess what? In a feel bad, female-oriented society, they become the leaders. They become the good guys. They become the people who make laws. And I've been thinking about this immigration stuff. And I think all that explains a lot, the darkness, and I think all that explains the almost suicidal reaction of Americans to let people in, everything I'm talking about. But you got to wonder why. The why remains on people in government and people who have been, especially been there for many years, decades, they're no dummies. And they know that, okay, well, it's just a couple million, but we could close it up. Legal immigration is great. There are liars on the left and the right, all the way from the top. And these people have been in government for years, and they pretend like they don't know what's going on here. So I got to wonder, it's like, why? Why? I've concluded a number of things. It's pretty simple stuff that you don't have to make all sorts of crazy conclusions to realize. The heart is wicked. The heart is evil. People lie to control. They know that they can make people feel bad. What you looking for? It's okay. Let me get it for you.
All right. Everything.
your keys and your Blistex, sir. I'm talking about. The man can't leave without his Blistex. I can't leave him like that. But I'm saying, appreciate Joel there. I'm wondering why, right? Obviously, we can arrive to some pretty easy things. The heart is wicked and evil. It would love to amass wealth and power, false wealth and power, whether it's political votes, getting people to feel bad for you, vote for you, money itself. Look at these people are rich. A lot of people in government. And I come across a little tweet that might also explain a little bit, and I've alluded to this in maybe very clunky ways because I just don't know, of this sort of like Ponzi scheme. This Ponzi scheme that vibe I get out of immigration as it stands today. You see, there's all sorts of things. We're keeping it basic. There's all sorts of functions. What would we call it? Let's call it, basic social functions that require people to work. Social security, police, like literally everything. And not just people, competent people. But okay, we'll take people if we don't even have that. And when you couple it with low birth rates and all that, you start maybe putting together a picture here. This is almost desperate. Is this? I'm going to put it as a question because I don't know. Is this a desperate attempt of governments playing God, well, you know what I'm saying? Like playing God, not seeing writing on the wall, not caring about real things, but going with ego and false things for self-fulfillment? Is all this now coming to a head with what we're seeing, the low birth rates, which I draw a line to the emptiness of the individual in today's society? Is it possibly this is a death throw of a once great society who literally just now needs literal bodies, to prop up the failing society, right? That was once propped up by the strong families that it had. Am I crazy here? Again, I've spoken about this in a clunky way, out of my own ignorance, because I don't know. I'm trying to see the bigger picture here a little bit. I don't want to get too lost. Hopefully you're following me so far. I came across this tweet by Adam Rossi. I don't know who he is, but it went viral. He's apparently a Inc. 500 entrepreneur, engineer, business owner, investor, husband, dad with 3 great kids. Okay. Adam Rossi tweets. Here it is. Hold up. Boom. Thanks, Lil Nick. What's this say? Adam Rossi writes, the native population of Japan is falling at a rate of 100 people per hour, down 595,000 from a previous year. Remember, I've talked about Japan. It's not just the West. And if you ask some people, it's the whole world. Asterisk, except Africa. Prime Minister says Japan is at the brink of being unable to maintain social functions. Pretty serious. The government incentives to have babies have been ineffective. This is cultural, concludes Adam Rossi. The only hope is immigration. And I think this may be a picture of him and his son. I'm not sure. Oh, yeah, it looks like him. But he says the only hope is immigration. The only hope. This is the only way. And are you kind of seeing how I'm seeing things now? It sounds to me like there are others who believe the same way. They believe that these shrinking populations are existential threat. You got the government of Japan, whether if it's true or not, remember, the prime minister of Japan is a person, okay? They could be propagandized, they could be liberals, who knows? That being said, they see it as a problem. And there are some people who see the solution as immigration. So I don't think I was crazy in saying that. I don't think that's nuts at all. Right? That there are people who see this as a solution, right? Now, why is that a problem? You might think, okay, well, Nick, this is the brink of being unable to maintain social functions at some point. At some point, you got to drop whatever crusade you're on. You anchor baby. What are you? Race trader? I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm responding to the apparition of my mind. I shouldn't do that too much, but we're having fun on the show. You might think, well, at one point you got to drop this, right? You got to save the country. And I just don't know why that's. Can there be another option? Can there be another option? I'm keeping it simple here. Okay, I'm not a city planner. I don't have all the numbers. I'm about to get to calls. I appreciate it. You could call in to correct me. But I think there could be another option here. For example, what about shrinking? Is that crazy? America's the greatest country on this side of heaven. Da-da-da. True. Or maybe it was. What I'm saying is, here's what I'm saying. If when I'm seeing low birth rates and all this, and I'm saying nobody even trying to do it the right way, no one even saying, hey, what's wrong here is, look, we let the order fall apart. Men, they don't even know what that is anymore. They don't even want to be men. And women are out of control. They're mad. Sometimes justifiably mad at the men, but now they're so evil. They're so evil that they're mad at the men, but they're willing to let the whole society fall apart. We're not having babies until you make marriage better for us, you patriarchy. And so no one wants to do it the right way. And you want to tell me immigration is the only answer? I'm thinking of a few right now. And if going that way, the right way in a sense, if you're following me still, if the penalty you incur or the cost of it to do that is shrinking of an economy, shrinking of a population, a lowering of your quality of life. Ooh, get ready. A lowering of your quality of life. You feel me? Then maybe we don't got to keep the Ponzi scheme going. Doing it. I know this is maybe crazy. Nick, who's going to even listen to you? Well, maybe I'm going to be by myself saying this, but it's the only thing that makes sense. If that's the penalty, a shrinking, sorry, federal government, you don't get to be the richest, and all your employees don't get to be so wealthy. What the heck is going on with that? And am I making any sense here? You follow me somewhat, right? Maybe that's not the answer. I just don't see anyone trying it the right way. And until I do, I don't want to hear people saying that's the only answer. Because that's the end of Japan. Okay, Adam Rossi, there's no Japan after that. You can have a whole country. You can have Japan. If you snapped your fingers and replaced the whole population one for one with another population, but they all spoke Japanese. They did the, I don't know, Japanese stuff. I don't know if that's Japan anymore. And this is a little bit of speculation, and maybe I'm making this up in my head, but I would even almost say that should that a magical scenario happen in Japan, I think the people there, the the new population that's dressed using Japanese culture would drop it eventually. It would just eventually become a museum because you don't have Japanese people anymore. I don't think that's how it goes. I think that is how it goes, and that's what I had to say about it. Okay, let's not leave our callers on hold for too long. And I do appreciate the patience. 888-775-3773. Let Japan commit seppuku honorably. No. I'm not saying. I'm saying take this in. Because seppuku means suicide, right, Zenny? I'm saying this. I'm saying that Ponzi schemes always fail. And the more you keep a Ponzi scheme going, the harder it fails. And maybe this is all idealistic. It's too late. But if there's a hope for Japan, it's maybe shrinking and accepting certain things and doing things the right way. And not letting the people all tell you, oh, immigration is your only answer. You won't have a Japan. That'll really destroy Japan. That'll truly be the end of Japan. If you could shrink but still maintain a border, maintain a defense, you know what I'm saying? Then Japan doesn't die. Japanese people don't die. Once those borders, once the cell membrane has been burst, the cell dies. Okay. No. And people in my chat too is like losing hope. Well, for who? Hope for what? I personally don't think, has there ever been, I'm maybe making this up, but has there ever been a people that stop existing? Like you hear about the Sumerians, they don't exist anymore, but wait, do they really not exist anymore? Has there ever been a real extinction of people? Anyways, that's just rambling. That's probably the answer to that. Maybe absolutely yes. And you could call me and tell me if that's true. Let me get to Santino, Texas. Sir, you're on the air. Appreciate it.
Hey, Nick, how you doing?
All is well, sir. Go ahead.
Hey, I just had a comment over yesterday's topic. I don't want to derail you from today's
Please,
topic.
derail away. Speak about what you want to speak about.
Yeah, well, I was thinking about what you guys were talking about, a HALA loan where, it's almost like a 0% interest and you just pay for the structure itself, I guess.
It's a halal loan. And that's not exactly true that there's no interest.
What is that?
They just call it something different. And and maybe I misunderstood something, but I got it from I got nerdwallet.com open right now, and they're talking about these new halal mortgages in Canada, which are in agreement with Sharia law. Sharia law says borrowers that interest or riba is exploitative. So what's different is with these halal mortgages. Let me read it clearly here. Maybe you can correct me here. It's something I don't understand. It says, instead of interest rates, a halal lender might charge a profit rate. Even though these profit rates can be based on the overnight interest rate, they tend to be higher than the rates attached. So my understanding from that is that it's the same as an interest rate, but they just don't call it that.
Right. Okay. Well, I was thinking it was something different because mortgages in America are kind of like a scam. And let me explain why
Please.
I think that. and I can just go by my experience only.
Okay.
And I live in Texas. I bought my house in 2009 for $100,000, and it got me 1,700 square foot home. So, and I have the normal interest rate or whatever it is, but it would be better if they would charge the interest up front, say like, oh, you got a $100,000 loan, we're just going to tack on 50% interest, and so you pay $150,000 for the entire loan. But instead, they do this compound interest, by the day, by the month, by the week, or whatever it is, and I'm going to end up paying $200,000 more than what my house is worth over the time of the 30-year loan. You can catch my drift.
I do. Now, my understanding of all that, I'll let you finish. Don't let me cut you off. I do that too much.
Right. Well, no, you're okay.
Finish your thought.
What I'm saying about that is, it would be better. I would rather them charge 50% interest, on just smack it on there, saying, "Oh, you're buying a $100,000 home. We're going to add $50,000 in interest to it, and that's all you're going to pay." Because if they did that, I would have paid my house off 3 years ago. Now I still have like 15 more years to pay, and I'm going to pay. I've already paid $168,000 on this loan, and I still have about that same amount left to pay.
Wow!
So it's kind of like the bank is getting,
right,
triple time what the house is worth, and when I could be done paying for the house, already, and be comfortably living. Maybe adding more money to the economy by spending my money elsewhere, maybe buying cars or what have you.
I want to talk about this more because I think there may be a case to be made about what am I trying to say? Like this may be a strange word to use in banking stuff, but look, I just mean like there may be a moral case to be made on like if what the banks are doing with interest and mortgages is wrong or right, and especially when you put into context what the country is going through, and you hear about how people used to be able to own homes very easily and raise families on a single income and all that, it brings a lot of things into question. But let me ask, in the two scenarios you described, both of them required an agreement beforehand, no?
Right.
And in the first one where it's interest,
buy the house that way.
And in the first one where the interest was paid, and these 20, 30-year mortgages, you end up paying a lot of money. There is a pro there though, no? In that the person who was trying to get that loan in the first place, it was because they didn't have the money to pay for a house.
Right.
So let me ask you this, and help me and clear up something for me for my ignorance. If you were to not miss any payments in that first way, then there would be no surprise in how much you're going to pay at the end, no?
No, there's still no surprise. I mean, I understand that I was going to make my yearly payment or monthly payment.
Yeah.
And, if I calculated it out, I would see how much I would throw into the loan and pay off. But it's kind of like, I mean, it's an upside down deal. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I didn't have the money to buy the house outright, so I had to borrow it. So I agreed to the terms, but the terms are kind of like putting knives in your back, because imagine what I could do with the extra $160,000 that I had to pay to my mortgage. I could possibly invest that into other businesses, maybe buy another property. But I understand that's just the way it works right now, but I just feel like it's kind of backwards.
When I hear you say that, and I hear the real life situation of your family, here's again, I don't discount anything I just said. I gotta keep things simple. An agreement is an agreement, and there's a pro to the agreement that you saw at the time. And here you have a home, and you've had that home since then. That being said, hearing your situation makes me consider why these different religions put that in their Bibles about usury and all that. It's probably because of something like this, putting too much pressure on families and home ownership and stuff.
Yeah. Like if I pay 25 years up of this loan, and something happens to where I can't pay the final 5 years of my loan, then the money I put into it, they don't look at that and say, oh well, we've made $100,000 on this $100,000 loan, so let's go ahead and not kick them out. No, they're going to kick me out resell it, have someone put a new loan on it for the current market value, and then they're going to make all that money again, you know?
Yeah.
Which
I
understand.
Hey, that's that's
capitalism.
That's capitalismo, and what interests me is something that interests me is having institutions and stuff that love America and are America first. I'd love to have that conversation, but on this, it sounds to me like, for example, a little devil's avocado here, Santino. Yeah, as tough as, I don't know how tough things were, but, you know, bank made their money and all that. In this whole time, you had that home and you raised a family in there, no?
Right. I got something out of it, yeah.
Well, right on, man. I wish you and your family well.
All right, well, I appreciate you.
Fascinating conversation. Appreciate it, sir.
Yeah,
call me again.
bye.
You know, what's funny about this halal mortgage stuff, too, is that whatever, I don't know why that's in the religious books, by the way. So I'm going to just say that, because I actually don't have any clue. I've heard that about usury in the Bible and stuff. But that being said, you know what's funny about today? They're talking about halal mortgage, and it's on the website. Like, if you just look it up, and by the way, and Muslims were owning homes in Canada before halal mortgages. So you look it up and they tell you right away, you're going to end up paying more. But don't worry, it's halal. You'll at least be clean in the eyes of God, in the eyes of Allah. Because he's making sure, he's looking through the bureaucracy of Canada and making sure that you are purchasing your home in a halal way. Using God to make money, in my opinion. That's the story as old as time, really. Using God to control, right? Okay. What can we do now? We were talking with our caller. We opened up with Mike Johnson, immigration. That's right. That's correct. Shrinking, we're saying maybe that's okay. And we got stats, too. We got stats. New York Times. Some statistics on women voters. You know, we're wondering why, right? We're asking why. We're thinking, we're asking the question why. We're maybe seeing the Ponzi scheme through the trees. That's not an expression anyone's ever said, I think. But we're seeing the Ponzi scheme in between the lines, maybe. We're seeing the female spirit in the American public feeling bad for the least of us, a.k.a. the worst of us. But not really the worst. We're seeing all that, and now we're seeing these stats, New York Times, and again, polls. Polls, you know, no point in putting too much importance into them, but I really don't think this one's that far off the mark. New York Times, 2024, women voters. We got some projected numbers. Joe Biden, 53%. Donald Trump, 37%. Are you surprised? Women hate a strong man. And here's the funny thing. The numbers, the data gets more granular as Davis here on Twitter reveals with a reply to this post. The data gets more granular. It's single women as the largest Democratic voter base. Literally the cat food and meals for one shoppers at the grocery store. Going hard on the single ladies, Davis is, but he's got the stats to show you here. Gender by marital status. You see, it's not just women going Biden, it's unmarried women. Married men, overwhelmingly Republican. Married women, also majority Republican. Unmarried men, still slightly majority Republican. And you get to unmarried women and it's like Satan flipped the tables this time. With anger, unlike Jesus, who did it with a still heart. Unmarried women, 68%. And you know this too. I was made aware of this dynamic. Now, okay, let me be real. I had suspicions of the dynamic when I heard JLP drop that bomb that you got to forgive your mother and hell comes through the women. But this was made clear for me. Remember when Trump, remember the Trump midterms and really the Trump presidency, 2016 and 2018. Remember 2018 when Republican women came out en masse? And what were they mad about? They were mad about like fake feminism stuff. They were mad about abortion, I think, if I remember correctly. And these are Republican women. And they came out en masse against Trump, the man. A poetic example, really, of this enmity, this fight between men and women. Could it be that on the pockmarked battlefield of men and women, one of these bombs fell on the family, and it fell on the birth rate? I think that's what happened. I think in this war, the children have suffered. Okay, you get it. You follow me? And with that, I want to present to you a little video. You maybe fell asleep. Wake up. We got a little exciting video for you. Look at this crap. Is this real? No way. Is this woman really treating this guy like this over that?
Get home, and then I look and see that I've got an email from the bank, and it said that something about like my card being declined, fraudulent activity, multiple transactions, something anyway. So I called up the bank and I'm like, hey, can you send me a statement, please, so I can just like see what's going on? Get it through, multiple, and I mean.
We're gonna turn that down a little bit. Hold on, folks. I don't know why these TikTok women do this. We're gonna assume this whole thing is fake, but we're gonna watch it anyways. Okay, the anchor baby has a show to do and things to say.
Multiple. Like, this looks like a joke. Multiple transactions to OnlyFans.
OnlyFans?
What on earth is going on?
She caught him. Look at that. She caught him on the OnlyFans. That's a lot of OnlyFans transaction, man. I see $10, pounds, I guess, right? They got pounds. It's far away from me, but earlier when I saw this clip, I think I see like, you just giving like $10, $50, $20. Just tipping these OF girls. Let's keep going.
Because that's not me, and it's in our joint account. Something you want to tell me?
No.
Something you've been up to recently that you've not told me about?
The confrontation.
Maybe.
Again, it's probably fake. But let's keep going.
You're going to be honest with me.
You're going to be honest?
Why then multiple charges on our joint account that we have together to only... Do you want to explain? I'm giving...
Dude didn't even do it on a different account, man. Well, maybe he didn't think that her card would get declined somewhere, so she'd have to look it up.
You free reign here.
Yeah, but clearly someone's hacked the account.
Clearly. No, we're on your side. No, she doesn't know. She doesn't know about hacking. Miss, you don't know about hacking. Your man is clearly being hacked. We got to back him up, boys. Your man's been hacked. Clearly, he's been hacked.
Might have had a data leak somewhere. There's loads going about.
There's loads going around.
No?
He says no to her face. She's like, it's not you. No. Right on, man. No, I'm joking. I'm playing around.
Just tell me the truth.
All right. Might have been on it.
I've been on it.
Am I not good enough for you?
Well, what? What's wrong with that?
We've been together for 3 years.
Right.
We're saving for a house.
Anyone, is it?
Why are you on OnlyFans when you've got a girlfriend?
People watch all the time.
It's bleeped out. People watch corn all the time. You know what I'm saying?
And?
It's the same thing, is it not? In fact,
same thing.
Better than that.
What do you mean it's better than that?
Well, you don't know where any of these videos are coming from, do you? You know exactly where these content creators are coming from, don't you?
Oh, wow. She should be impressed. He's a, what do they call it when they source coffee from like a nice place that's not oppressed or whatever? What do they call that? Come on, help me out. When you source something ethically sourced. I remember. Don't worry. You don't have to type it in. You should be impressed, miss. Your boyfriend only cares about ethically sourced dirty videos, ethically sourced content. You should be impressed. You know, when I heard him say that, I instantly thought, not only is this maybe fake, I think this might even be an OnlyFans advertisement. Just put in, this is my conspiratorial, my internal bells going off. I'm just letting you know, putting it out there. Hey, maybe I'm wrong. But not only this may be a skit, this might even be an OnlyFans commercial advertisement. Don't you know OnlyFans is ethically sourced? That's what we learned from this video. We were just educated. Let's keep going here. We're almost done.
Well, I'm actually going to make this a lot easier for you. I'm going to go out for an hour. You're going to pack your shit and you're going to get out because me and you are over.
No, let's just talk.
No, we're over.
Come on.
No.
Come on, Sandy.
I'm not
Just
being
talk about it.
I'm not being treated like that.
What?
Get your stuff. Pack your stuff and get out.
Come on, Sandy. You can't walk out of a drive-in movie. Come on. Oh, come on. Don't be like that. We could talk about it, honey. Come on. We can talk about it. I didn't mean it. Amazing. And I'm laughing it up. I'm yucking it up. You know, I'm playing this to switch up the gears, you know. Yeah, okay, it might be fake. Don't cringe. You got like 2 hours with me, okay? Let me flesh out things and have fun here and make a show out of things, please. You got me for 2 hours. But isn't that a funny video? You know, a lot of women, she's saying they're 3 years. But I was just reading a story of this woman who killed her own husband. She shot him. Wife shoots husband after finding his stash. Schmornography. And I don't know if this is recent, I forget. Scottish woman faces, oh yeah, this is a little older. But these people were married a long time. Oh, hold up. We got one from 2019. Folks, on just a cursory Google, there's in fact countless stories. Scottish woman faces 50 years in jail for trying to murder her husband after finding his pornography. Arkansas woman convicted of killing husband in porn dispute. 68-year-old. Sunday school teacher convicted of murdering her husband. 69-year-old. 65-year-old man found dead after apparent homicide. Look at all these husbands. Where's your husbands listening to me right now? Do you know where your pornography stash is? Do you know where your wife is right now? Are you sure? Are you even aware of what's going on? Are you paying attention, man? You're in danger. Your life's in danger. Let's calm down, because I'm looking at these stories of women who killed their husbands over this, and a lot of women feel that bad. You know, they take it personally. They take it so personally, and it's partly the training, I think, society, but it's also this. It really is the nature of the woman, because she wants to have him. You understand me? She wants to have him, and whatever she sees that he makes important, whether in a positive or negative way, with positive or negative emotions, she will use. Okay. And another thing, too, it's funny, you see these marriages, and it's like 30, 40 years of marriage, but she found the porn. And it's like, we were married for 40 years. How could you do this? Lady, that's probably why you were married for 40 years. You know what I'm saying? And this is not a justification, okay? There's a lot of guys who will hear me say that and they'll go like, yeah, that's right, Nick, and not even examine themselves. Fellas, you're only doing that because you're looking for peace and love, man. And some of you call yourselves, I was about to say Christian, but that was going to come off too judgmental. What I mean is, some of you call yourselves free and like born again. And it's like, just have some more, you see what I'm saying? It's not the porn that's bad. It's that you're seeking for something. You're looking for something. So don't get all excited, fellas. But yeah, ladies that are mad at this and you're like, I was married for 40 years. Yeah, this is probably one of those things that made those 40 years go by. You know what I'm saying? We were married for 40 years. Yeah, and it's probably over now. and I'm messing around. There's I think a truth here. I hope you understand me. In that, I don't think marriage is bad. You've heard me talk over some number of shows. Maybe you've heard me and you're like black-pilled. You're like, Nick, his take on marriage is so black-pilling. It really is only this. Marriage isn't bad. It's just these stories prove to me that your journey to freedom is your own. And the things that you got to do that, forgive, watch yourself, the ego, you got to do that in a marriage, and you got to do it outside of a marriage. You got to do it regardless, okay? And women suffer from that. I notice married women and girlfriends, they suffer from, this desire of wanting a strong man. They want the man to be strong. But I get it. That would be the ideal. But you can go to God. You can go to God, and it starts with watching yourself and watching how you want to use the things that he likes against him. You do. Pay attention to yourself. You know he likes the love and the false love and the sex, and you know that when you give it to him, you notice a little change in his demeanor. He's got some pep in his step. He's treating me nicely. Maybe I should do this more. But that's all born out of this false desire the woman has. And so even married, if you don't do the work, you might get angry at your husband's pornography in the future and go crazy and kill him. So even married, you got to do the work. And hopefully you have a husband that will at least point you the right way and do it constantly till the very end. But okay, I'm rambling at this point. Hopefully you understand me. Funny videos to express something here. I personally think that's an OnlyFans advertisement. Yeah, where husbands in the chat. Yeah, you gotta. You're in danger. You're in danger. You're in imminent danger. Are we talking an ancient playboy in some box of junk? Carver, are you asking about some of these stories? And one of these that I was reading, the wife, see, the problem in one of these that I read is the wife had found the man's stash, and they're older, so I have to imagine it's some garage magazines or something, okay? And so she found it, and what he did was a huge mistake. He not only agreed with the premise that this was like somehow against her, like this was somehow personal against her, which is stupid and egotistical. He made an even bigger mistake. He told her he was sorry, and he promised never to do it again. Dang. And so, of course, she found it again. I think she found it a number of times. And so, again, here's a big mistake that men do, I notice. And I know this because I do it. I've done it in my life. Don't explain yourself to your wife or your girlfriend or to the woman. Let me explain. Let me explain to you why you shouldn't explain. No. I'm not using words correctly. Allow me some time to flesh this out. It's not that you shouldn't speak. Speak your mind and be clear about what you're saying and be honest too. And you'll do a lot better in life. I promise you. That being said, sometimes things come up and they're not real, but you make them real by explaining yourself. And this case of pornography is a good case. For example, this wife of this man who's dead, he got caught. And she says, "Why would you do this to me?" And you say to her, "I'm sorry, I won't do it again." You have now created an issue that doesn't exist. And now you have to continuously prove that a thing that does not exist. And now she there is mad and hurt on a thing that's not even happening. So avoid doing things like that. Avoid apologizing about stupid things that you didn't even mean. And maybe this is coming out wrong. Hopefully you understand me. Because usually, how do I put this? I think that was a good example with the wife and telling her and agreeing with her, "Yeah, you're right, I hurt you, I'm sorry." When that's just not true. You're lying by saying that. You're actually lying by saying something like that and making a lie reality. And now you will forever try and prove this lie to her. It could be with positive things. It could be with things that you suggest. It could be with things like that you personally think is like just a positive in her life. You just think, hey, I think that's whatever that you're doing is dangerous. avoid that. And let's say you don't just leave it as a suggestion, which is how it should be with all people, because you're not trying to control people. That's not your place. You're not God. But you see, hey, that's a little dangerous. Don't do that. But you come at it with a wrong spirit. You see her doing it, and then you're like, you just come at it with the wrong energy. Trust me, she could tell. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing the thing I told you not to do? Now she's gonna. You just signed. I don't know what warrant, but you signed it. She is now gonna push it and be unsafe or whatever, and play it off like what? I don't know. Play it what? I don't know what you mean. Why are you? What are you mad about? What do you mean? Maybe you don't understand what I'm saying, but I'm seeing some fellas in the chat. I think they understand what I'm saying. Because you made it important. That was the mistake. You made it important. The mistake was making it important. Don't make all these little things important, because once you make it important, guess what? It's important. And now it's a thing. 888-775-3773. A little bit about stuff. Thank you, fellas in the chat. All right. I think where are we? I was in a fugue state. I was like, just in a fugue state, just relaying the info for the people who need to hear. Oh, that's right. This is where I was. See, I'm talking about the women and really in that video and the Biden stuff and everything I've been saying, I'm expressing this rift that you all are very aware of, I'm sure. You don't need me to tell you, but I got a show to do. The rift between men and women. And men being subject to women is like the end, the absolute end. Let me show you what I mean. Starting off with this video. And I see your calls. I appreciate it. Just a little patience. We'll get to you here. 888-775-3773. I got a news story for you, and it's about a mother who admitted to smothering a 2-month-old baby girl to death while high on meth. You're going to see the story. You're going to get some information on the case and what happened on the moment itself, and the judge, and the moment where the judge, the sentencing. Let's get into a little bit here. I know the morbid story of 𝒏𝒊𝒂𝒎 Lacey, an Indianapolis mother, but we're going to get through the morbid stuff because it's really not about that. But whatever, some of you thrilled people will like this baby killer story. Oh my gosh, let's get to it.
Ruled within the last hour that 𝒏𝒊𝒂𝒎 Lacey did not commit a criminal act of neglect that resulted in her 2-month-old baby's death. Lacey allegedly admitted in a police interview that she smothered her child while she was high on meth and tired. She allegedly put a pillow on the baby's face to make her stop crying.
So that's what she admitted to the police, right? She said she didn't mean to kill the baby, but yeah, I did put it into the couch face first, because it was crying too loud, and I was high on meth.
Lacey's other daughter, who was only 3 at the time, testified that she saw her mom put a pillow on her baby's face, but there was no medical or physical evidence presented at trial to show that the baby was smothered or that she died from suffocation. The judge said that the charges were not appropriate in this case.
So, you're following so far, right? They agree the baby died. They agree, the mother admits that she put the baby into the couch because it was too loud. They agree the baby died from suffocation. But there is no evidence to suggest that this was a smothering and it was intentional in that way. Okay, that's still a fair point to make in a court of law, right? Okay, we got the judge here.
Court accordingly enters judgment of not guilty, reluctantly. I do hope that you will take the opportunity to get the counseling that you need, to get the counseling for the children that you need, that you learn from this behavior, and hopefully the rest of the community learns from this behavior, that you cannot go out and party on the weekend and be with children.
At the end of her trial,
Wow.
Judge Mark Stoner chastised Lacey.
So we're about to hear him. We're about to finish this clip where the news report explains why he chastised her and all that. But yeah, you're following so far, right? Not guilty. He says reluctantly, right? He's saying the court, he's saying the state, the charges brought upon the state were just incorrect. That this was not intentional. That this was an accident, right? And you'll hear him explain in a moment that if it was like involuntary manslaughter or something, then he would have considered it. He would have considered doing it. And it sounds also, and I'm a layman with the law, you can call in and correct me. It sounds so legal and correct. I don't know, folks. I smell activism. He's talking about counseling. He's saying learn from the behavior. I'm sure the community will learn from the behavior, right? They'll just learn to not party on the weekends. You think this is the first, like, horrific thing that's happened out of a community that parties on the weekends and leaves babies, to get high? You feel me? I smell counselism. I smell activism, not counsalism. I smell activism and female spirit all over this. There's something just doesn't gel. And because I'm a layman, because I don't understand all this fancy academic language makes it seem so correct. Well, of course, Nick. Well, of course, the mother was high on meth, but there's just no physical evidence to determine that this was a smothering. So how can this be a justice? There's parents going to jail for I almost forgot. There's parents going to jail because someone else shot somebody. We're talking about the Crumblies. And a mother who admits and the intentionality was there to shove the baby into the couch. I know you didn't mean to kill him, and I believe that. I believe there was no intention in there. They may have not meant to kill him, or they truly feel regret over this. And, being high and all that is a whole nother thing. I really sincerely believe that. I don't think, that they wanted to kill the baby. I'm not saying that means they love the baby. But you feel me here? Like, there's activism all over this. Something wrong here. Let's finish this clip because it ends in an amazing way.
Saying her actions were reckless, but insisted the prosecutors didn't prove she intentionally harmed her daughter, and they didn't charge her with the right crime. Because April is Child Abuse Prevention Month, the judge said there are lessons about dangerous parenting practices that can be learned from the case, but then said he reluctantly found Lacey not guilty because being a bad parent isn't always against the law.
So is it that the court's messed up? Or is it, this is just bad parenting, that's not against the law? It's unclear. This guy's not very clear, and this is supposed to be your judge, right? This is the activist class in the judicial system on display. People have been talking about it, but it's so clear. You do not want to be judged by a jury of your so-called peers. You do not want to be judged by this so-called judicial system because it's about feeling bad. It's about activism. This person's saying counseling. That's not your place. You're a judge. Okay, maybe your place is fine. I'm just working things out live here, and I understand. I may not understand the judicial system totally. It might be his place to, to decide if the charges are just and proportional. But I just don't trust these judges, man. When they're going around talking about counseling, and this woman admitted to putting the baby in the position that killed the baby eventually. Anyways, I just don't think, I think a little bit of this is, aren't you allowed to, I guess my ignorance is on full display here. I'm like grasping for words, but help me understand, are you allowed to retry something like that? Let's say the judge says, okay, yeah, well, clearly this is the wrong charge. It should be for involuntary manslaughter. Is he allowed to do something like that? Be like, okay, she should be charged again, okay? Or at least give an opinion? He's saying he gives his opinion on counseling. Is he at least allowed to say, hey, by the way, if courts can hear me, this woman should definitely go back, should be in jail. Like, definitely. I think this is more about counseling and feeling bad, straight up. And I may not be doing a good job of proving it, but folks, I think that's the proof right there. Counseling, he says. I'm reluctant, but I hope you'll learn from your behavior. And this is I play you this clip following the whole segment on women and the mothers here, because it's like, I don't know how else to put it. It's coming apart at the seams, and the women are like pushing it along with a smile. We're gonna get into Katherine Maher here to prove my point, and we'll move on from this. We'll leave the ladies alone for now. With Katherine Maher, you may have heard of her, former, I believe, CEO or something of Wikipedia. Now running NPR, National Public Radio. Women with a smile. And you're seeing men do it too. Okay, that's a female-minded judge. But women with a smile watch the world burn, and we're going to prove it here with Katherine Maher. But first we got Russ, New Jersey. I appreciate your call. You're on the air.
How you doing, Nick?
All is well, sir. Go ahead.
I wouldn't just help you guys out a little bit.
Hey, Russ, can I stop you right there, Russ?
Yeah.
Are you on speakerphone?
Yes, I am.
I knew it. Just no speakerphone. It'll be clear for us.
I'll call back.
Oh, are you unable to do it otherwise?
Oh, hold on, maybe. I'm not used to this.
Well, you're clear now, so no worries, Russ. You're here to help us out with something. Go ahead.
You were talking about that mortgage before?
Yes. The halal mortgages and interests and all that?
The one guy, the guy that called in had a 30-year mortgage.
Correct.
I don't know if you ever heard of an amortization sheet.
Can you repeat that? What was that? What is it that you just said? What sheet?
An amortization sheet.
Amortization sheet. No, I've never heard of that.
What that is that when you borrow money from somebody, they'll break down your monthly payments as you pay off your mortgage. And what it starts off is, because you borrow a high amount of money, your interest is extremely high. So say your mortgage is $1,000 a month. Your interest payments in the very beginning are like around $900, maybe $950, and you're only paying $45 towards your principal. You got me?
I'm totally following. Yeah, amortization. I'm following.
Amortization sheet. It's a breakdown of your monthly payments from when you start your mortgage to the end.
Following. And so
you understand me?
I'm totally understanding what you're saying here is with this is that whatever you may think about a mortgage loan and the way it's done now, are you telling me that there's no surprise? You're saying that these amortization sheets really calculate.
What I was telling you is how to pay it off and get it done a lot quicker and a lot cheaper.
Is you use an amortization sheet.
An amortization sheet is the breakdown of how much interest you're paying each month and how much principal you're paying each month.
Right on. An amortization calculator is used to determine the periodic payment amount due on a loan based on the amortization process. I'm just reading something out here to help the folks. The amortization repayment model factors varying amounts of both interest and principal. Oh, nice. So that you can pay off your payment faster. Very nice.
What it is it'll break your mortgage payments down each month. Like in the very beginning, because you borrow a large amount of money, your interest payment your principal payment on your mortgage is very cheap. It may only be like $40 or $50 a month. If you can bring in an extra $40 or $50 each month, because your mortgage is recalculated every month that you repay your mortgage, you can pay your next month's mortgage for $40 or $50 at the time that you pay your mortgage.
Nice. That's some free.
Do you understand what?
I am understanding, and people can look it up too. It's amortization amortization calculators. You can look at all this up. The information's out there. You just got to want it. We got Russ from New Jersey with giving the viewers some free alpha, as they say.
So where I had a 10-year mortgage when I bought my home, I paid it off in 4 years by making ahead of the time principal payments.
Uh-huh.
You understand what I'm saying? Instead of having to pay the total $1,000 every month, I only had to bring in like an extra $40 or $50. When a person takes a 30-year mortgage around the 15-year mark, their mortgage payment starts to even off. The interest payment is about the same amount as the mortgage payment or the principal payment. The interest payment and the mortgage payments level off at about, for a 30-year mortgage about at the 15-year. But if you can pay that extra little bit of money each month, you save a whole nother month off of the end of the mortgage.
Well, nice. Well, thank you.
You understand what I'm saying?
I'm following.
Okay.
Very nice. Free alpha for the folks.
Okay. That's it.
Appreciate your call, Russ. Thank you for that.
No problem.
Oh, man, I could have asked him something. But whatever. Sounds like voodoo to me. Double up your principal to knock down your interest. Yeah, I mean, these are the things you got to do when you don't have a halal mortgage. These are just the things that you say, you got to play the game. Hey, you agreed to it. You agreed to them's the rules. Guess what? People playing in these rules, some have tricks. You want to know them. You want to be ahead. What the heck was that? I don't know what that was, folks. Sorry. I just clicked on something and it made a strange sound. I hope that... Anyways. I was looking up amortization pronunciation. Oh my, what's going on? You hearing that? Did I ruin what I did? Something to the cables, didn't I? This is a user error, folks. Well, you don't need to hear it. I was just trying to play a video that has the pronunciation for this word. This word that eludes us. Amorization? At first, I thought he was talking about love. Amorization? Amorización? And then I thought he was talking about death. Amortization. Let's move on. Okay, let's see here. We got more for you. We got more stuff here for you. Let's see here. Oh, yes. Katherine Maher. That's right. I wanted to show you some footage here. There's this woman that's going viral. She's all over my Twitter now. Scary phantoms. Blame it on the cables. Sure, Nick. Yeah, no, I tried blaming it on the cables. I think it's me. I'm forgetting something. I know I'm forgetting something. But where was I? I'm telling you about this woman, Katherine Maher. Maher? Like Bill Maher? And she's going viral because here's what's significant about her. She is this NPR woman. Katherine Maher. Okay, hold on. NPR names tech executive Katherine Maher as new CEO. This is kind of old news. That's from January. And NPR, National Public Radio, is an American nonprofit media organization headquartered in Washington, D.C. It serves as a national syndicator to over 1,000 public radio stations. It's nonprofit. It differs from other nonprofit membership media organizations, such as the Associated Press, in that it was established by an act of Congress. Interesting. Just so you know, this is public radio, right? Funded by the people. Funding for NPR comes from dues and fees paid by member stations. Underwriting, okay. So, anyways, that's NPR. You get it. They got this woman, who's this new CEO or whatever, and she was the former Wikimedia Foundation chief. So she was with Wikipedia. Katherine Maher to lead the network through an era of declining broadcast listenership, financial uncertainty, and technological turbulence. So the declining broadcast listenership, meaning people don't want the same okie doke, and yeah, they're dumb, but they're not that dumb anymore. So they're not going with mainstream sources anymore, at least not like they used to. We can thank Trump for that, by the way. Fake news. Financial uncertainty, yeah, because people aren't listening, and technological turbulence. So Elon Musk and AI, and you can't hoodwink the people who are paying attention a little bit. But that's NPR and the landscape they are handling in the modern age. And they are in the business of news, in the business of information. Truth, so to speak. Is that fair to say? Journalism. You know, we all know journalism and politics so closely related. Very rarely are really about truth and about what matters, even though that's kind of their, that's what's on the box, right? That's kind of what's on the box. Politicians care about you, do what you want them to do. That's why you vote for them. So you think NPR and journalism and stuff like that are somewhat in the same business, no? Somewhat in the same wheelhouse. Even if you maybe disagree on certain things, at least not lie, right? So this clip is going around of this current CEO of NPR, Katherine Maher, in 2021. She was back at this time working with Wikipedia. This clip is going around and she's talking to Trevor Noah, total liberal, loser, South African comedian and writer. Trevor Noah. Let me play this clip for you of Maher and Trevor. And yeah, her on his show talking. Let's watch.
Fact of the matter is that most written knowledge today has been written by white, colonial, European, North American men. And so one of the things that we're really focused on is how do we think about correcting the record? How do we think about writing people into history? How do we think about writing people into the present who haven't been represented in the same way? Knowledge, when we talk about knowledge for the whole world, it needs to be reflective of the whole world. And so one of the first things we do is we measure the gaps. Who is missing on Wikipedia? Women are missing. People of color are missing. People from the global South are missing. Indigenous communities are missing. The history of Black Americans is missing from Wikipedia. Then we think about who's doing this work today and how can we support them? And it's not just about, say, for throwing money at the problem. It's also about going directly to these communities and saying, what do we need to change about ourselves? You know, what about the experience of editing Wikipedia? What about the culture of Wikipedia? What about the policies of Wikipedia need to change? Because in reality, the beautiful thing about Wikipedia is it is changeable all the time. It's edited 350 times a minute. So if we want to change it, that's fully within our power. So yes, we are cursed with a record that is hugely biased throughout history. But the power to change that agency lies with every single one of us who contribute to it.
So then what's the problem? Right? If you agree it's this open thing that's being edited and being constantly worked on and refined, then it's perfect in its imperfection. Right, Katherine Maher? There's no need for your input. There's no need for your meddling and you're worrying your pretty little head, as some say. You know what I mean? Because look at what you do with that. You're talking about writing people in. Do you understand what she's saying with that? See, this is what I mean. Women throwing away basic, fundamental realities and ideals and morals and stuff and just tossing it in a fire with a smile. With a smile, she says that with a smile and no self-reflection there. She says writing them in. Why? Why is she saying that? What is she saying that by writing them in? And measuring the gaps. And the assumption that the gaps are there because of racism, because of some made-up thing. And so your conclusion is, well, we'll write these women in. We will change the books. We will change the articles. We'll change the Wikipedia articles. And whoever's doing that kind of work to change things, and not for anything positive, but in an evil way for personal gain and to lie. Remember, the change is predicated on a lie. Who's doing this work? We'll support you, she says. Money? No, we need to change. We need to go to these people and ask them how to change our behaviors, our DNA even, how we think, she says. So happy to rewrite history, she says, and with a smile on her face. What is truth? Facts versus truth. That's an interesting conversation the Hake Report had on his show. But the question remains, don't you think? Here's a little bit more on Maher. Let's play. We got some footage for you, I think. I might be able to do this for you. What did I do wrong? I know this is user error. What did I do? Darn. What am I doing wrong? I want to play this video. It's from the internet. I think it requires these settings.
Where we are
We did it. I need a little checklist, a reminder. Write this one down, Nick. I'm talking to myself. Okay. We got a clip. More Katherine Maher. You're going to sit through this. I appreciate the patience because we got more Katherine talking about power. Talking about, what's she talking about here? She's, I'm trying to pull it up. NPR CEO Katherine Maher on The Truth. Great stuff. Let us watch this beautiful footage.
To disagreement, say politics and religion. Well, as it turns out, not only does Wikipedia's model work there, it actually works really well. Because in our normal lives, these contentious conversations tend to erupt over disagreement about what the truth actually is. But the people who write these articles, they're not focused on the truth. They're focused on something else, which is the best of what we can know right now. And after 7 years of
what? Notice these women on these TED Talks, they're like saying nothing.
Working with these brilliant folks, I've come to believe that they are onto something. That perhaps for our most tricky disagreements, seeking the truth and seeking to convince others of the truth might not be the right place to start.
Oh, wait, hold up. You thought like lit, I bet, huh? Saying a whole bunch of nothing, but somewhere in there, she at least gets that strategy right. But I don't know if it's for the same reasons, right? You've heard me say it before. You can't convince people of stuff. And any desire to do that and attempts to do that, you notice, don't go like you think they do.
In fact, our reverence for the truth might be a distraction that's getting in the way of finding common ground and getting things done.
It's one of those things where you could say words that are true, but yet not, right? I'd like to, because the words are true. There's a lot we could do if we could just not fight. And really, what are we fighting about? We're fighting about things that don't matter, usually. Even like things that you think are important, right? You think we should fight about abortion. Nick, they're killing babies. But you notice that doesn't change anything, right? So there are things you could do that America could do if they could drop the fighting. But I just wonder. I wonder if she would keep that energy if I were to say, you're right, we're dropping the fighting. And so now this is a Christian country. And does she love her enemies? Anyways, what are we talking about? Let's let the video play.
Now, that is not to say that the truth doesn't exist, nor is it to say that the truth isn't important. Clearly, the search for the truth has led us to do great things, to learn great things. But I think if I were to really ask you to think about this, one of the things that we could all acknowledge is that part of the reason we have such glorious chronicles to the human experience in all forms of culture is because we acknowledge there are many different truths. And so in the spirit of that, I'm certain that the truth exists for you.
She's certain of it.
Probably.
I just wonder if she's still certain if you were to challenge her truth.
The person sitting next to you. But this may not be the same truth. This is because the truth of the matter is very often, for many people, what happens when we merge facts about the world with our beliefs about the world.
What? Oh man, I'm just trying to play these clips here to put on display how much liars people are. You know, everyone says stuff like that. Everyone has their truth. Oh, you can't. Yeah, but you can't mess with someone else's truth. There's no such thing as being wrong. It's just a matter of perspective. And people are such liars when they say that. That's a lying woman. I realize that everyone has their truths, but what about when it challenges your truth? Everyone knows that that's when it matters. That's when this whole truth talk matters. When the rubber meets the road. And there's one more clip. I guess we don't need to play it, but she's saying the number one. This is when she was still with Wikipedia. Katherine Maher says the number one challenge in her. Here, let's just play it. It's 30 seconds. One more, Katherine Maher, okay? Throwing away basic ideals with a smile.
Challenge here that we
Story as old as time. Katherine Maher. Once again.
The number one challenge here that we see and is, of course, the First Amendment in the United States is a fairly robust protection of rights. And that is a protection of rights both for platforms, which I actually think is very important, that platforms have those rights to be able to regulate what kind of content they want on their sites. But it also means that it is a little bit tricky to really address some of the real challenges of where does bad information come from and sort of the influence peddlers who have made a real market economy around it. The number one challenge.
It's just a market economy of influence peddlers, and that's why this First Amendment has to go down. Wait, hold up. That escalated very quickly. That's why the First Amendment, with its robust, it's just so robust. You know, believe it or not, she laughs and smirks. You know, I almost thought it wasn't. I'm adding to it. She smirks and laughs and says, it's actually pretty robust. You wouldn't imagine how hard it is to infringe on someone's First Amendment rights. You wouldn't imagine how difficult it is. And I know we're yucking it up. We're yucking it up and look at this liberal. But it gets a little bit more serious. And I was just about to say a similar thing to someone here in my chat. I was literally about to say something just like that. Where'd you go? There was someone in my chat who just said this. They said something to the effect of, it's women like this that let black meth murderer mothers off. No, not guilty. You are seeing the face. You are seeing the very face of the spirit behind the downfall of the man in the West. Dang, didn't mean to get so heavy. Jeez. But she's mildly attractive, right, as they say? It ain't all so bad, right? No. But where were we? Yeah, I think that's it on that. 888-775-3773. Do appreciate all the super chats here. Nice. Kale Samogi. Hey, right on. Thank you for the super chat. Asks, Nick, did you ever try deep fried pizza in Toronto? Never. I don't know if I've ever even heard of that. Deep fried pizza sounds like sacrilege almost. It sounds like, it honestly, deep fried pizza sounds like something I would need a head covering to eat. You know what I mean? Deep fried pizza to me sounds like I would need to shield my face from God should I imbibe in such a delectable and sinful act such as such as deep fried pizza. I mean, who thought of this? This is almost as what's the word? Delectable? What's the word for like almost sinfully delectable? That. This is almost as that ortolan bird. As an ortolan bunting. You ever had ortolan bunting before? Anybody who caught that one Nick Stream episode knows what I'm talking about and is already horrified. You know what I'm talking about, right? Ortolan buntings. Who doesn't know about the bird, the ortolan bunting? Who does not know about the ortolan bunting? Because you must know. Gaze, feast your eyes upon this image. What you are looking at is a group of people, probably French, let's be real, probably French, covering their faces, they're covering their heads as they eat voraciously a bird, a little bird known as the ortolan bunting, which is prepared in a certain way, drowned in a liquor, marinated in its juices, in a dish so delectable, I think, that they shield their heads and their faces from God so that God wouldn't observe such a sinful act, such a sinful and gluttonous act. I'm not making that up. If you caught that Nick Stream episode, you know what I'm talking about. Scary stuff. Taco Bell should be eaten with a head covering. That's funny. Sinlectable. Deep fried ice cream. How's that even real? Is that real? I've had deep fried butter. Yeah, maybe I need a head covering. You don't know about this, Kale? Kale, with your very nice super chat, thank you for that, on deep fried pizza. You didn't know about ortolan buntings? I'm just educating you. Yep. They eat them. And this is how you eat them. You grab the bird by its little feet. It's dead. It's been drowned. And it's now marinated in its cognac and juices. And I believe it's cooked, but I read somewhere you can eat it uncooked. And you place the whole bird in your mouth. Eyes wide shut. I know the sun is still up. You want me to stop. And then as you gobble away at this bird, you use your other hand to take out the little bones, and you make sure you cover yourself from God. All right, I think we can move on. I'm killing time. I'm having fun. I'm doing my thing. We're getting prepared for tomorrow. We're flying high. You don't want to miss it. Pure disgust. We're flying tomorrow. You don't want to miss it. You want to be subscribed. You're hearing my voice. You're getting hypnotized. You're hearing about buntings. You're disgusted and interested at the same time. You want to hear more. We're taking off tomorrow. You don't want to miss it. 4 p.m. Pacific time. And we have fun on those Friday Nick streams, so don't miss it. Sometimes we're horrified too, but look, you don't want to miss it. I think we can move on, but before I do, real quick, some thoughts on a word. The word mimesis. Mimesis. Okay? Of which the definition is representation or imitation of the real world. Another term for mimicry. And this one person on Twitter 𒒏𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔, not sure who they are, opines on this word, mimesis, in reference to this Katherine Maher, women, and all that. I think we can wrap it up with this, then we can move on. Mimesis, what am I talking about? Mimesis. I appreciate the smart people in the back correcting the anchor baby. He's just an anchor baby. Forgive him. 𒒏𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔 on the word. Many, and here it is. And it's in reference to this Katherine Maher and all that. On truth. Many people are hating on this video, but I actually think it's a fascinating display of the two very distinct modes that exist to relate with reality. Mimesis versus first principles thinking. 95% of people operate on mimesis. Truth doesn't matter to them as much as getting along. And their epistemology, or how they decide whether something is true, is based on what people around them believe, which is obviously circular, since most of these people also operate in that very same way. The remaining 5% of people think from first principles about things. What's up, Bill? This leads them to hold opinions that are sometimes very outside of the Overton window. But okay, you get it. And the reason they can do this isn't courage as much as social ineptitude, this person thinks. But whatever, interesting conclusion, but that's what they're saying. But isn't that an interesting conversation? That really is the world. Robots. Believing their thoughts, believing their emotions and whims, and thinking they're free and individuals, free-thinking people. But I think this is really explains a lot. It kind of reminds me a little bit of that video I played yesterday, that Lucas Gage guy. And I literally just thought of this. I wasn't planning on bringing it up again. I do kind of remember myself speaking unclearly about it yesterday. But what got me was how this guy, who's a critic of a lot of what's going on and politics and seemed to side with Black Lives Matter. And why? He sided with Black Lives Matter. His conclusion was, if you remember, he called Black Lives Matter legitimate at one point. But what legitimized Black Lives Matter was these lies from the media that made them think they were being targeted by police. And this guy's standard for truth, at least in that video, I don't know, seemed to be mimesis. My group needs to win over your group. Anyways, just a tweet that made me think about stuff. I found it interesting. So maybe you find it interesting too. Mimesis. And people don't care about anything besides, people don't really care about anything. They just care about getting along and making sure the people around them get along with them and that we all believe similar things and we're not rocking the boat. This person, 𒒏𝒂𝒍𝒔, their theory is the autistic people, the Asperger's people, I don't know, that are willing to say the truth even if people around it don't like them. I don't know. But interesting things. Nope. Let's move on, I think. Because you can be in MIT. You could be someone in MIT, some kind of professor. You could be an engineer. Right? Facts, logic, engineering. There's no room for opinion there. There's no room for subjective crap and gray areas, okay? It's got to work. It's engineering. There's no room for mimesis in MIT and engineering, right? Obviously, I'm obviously teasing that very thing, the opposite. A male, rather, who goes by the name Carl Reed, engineer, advocate, and diversity professional. That's what his bio here on Twitter reads. He's caused a bit of a stink. He's caused a bit of a stink on Twitter here. 9.6 million views at this point. Pretty significant. And he's wearing an MIT. He's wearing MIT gear, okay? And he was on a plane, and he posted this, and it's got a lot of attention. 9.6 million views. Carl Reed. It reads, just boarded an early morning flight wearing my MIT gear. A seatmate looked at me and asked, basketball? I said, no, engineering. What about me prompted him to think I was playing or coaching basketball? He puts a little scratching chin emoji. Now, what do you think this individual, this seatmate, what do you think he may have assumed here? I think there's a bit of an assumption here. He says, basketball? Well, no, actually engineering. What made you think I was coaching basketball or something? Could it be my black skin, huh? Now, his seatmate, I don't know where you got that. I honestly don't know how you got that, because the jacket screams coach. Isn't this an athletic jacket? Am I revealing that I was not in athletics growing up in school? Am I being a little too revelatory of the anchor baby here? Don't make fun of me. Don't bully me. But doesn't this look like athletic gear? Is that Lando Calrissian? That's funny. Funny. That looks like athletic gear to me, but what do I know? Maybe it's not. So they're looking at his skin and assuming he's a basketball coach. Racism, right? Racism. But I don't know, his seatmate, if that's what he assumed, if he saw the skin color and thought sports, I don't know, man. Because the jacket screams like athletics, but I don't know. You're looking up top, I'm seeing engineer. Yeah, he might look like a coach. Yeah, it looks like warm-up gear. But where was I? Almost forgot what I was going to say about this. You know, obviously pointing out the false racism. You could be educated. You could be an MIT. But if you have anger, you got a little chip on your shoulder, you're going to act like, a stupid, hateful person. You notice angry people really do, even when they got facts and they're smart, they start eventually sounding stupid. And basic things like, I don't want to get into that. My apologies. Racism isn't real. You get it. MIT, all smart and all that. But even at these heights in life, you can be quite immature, quite judgmental, and all your academics won't save you from a silly post like this, don't you think? Now, what prompted him to think I was playing? So you want to stir the pot, and you're angry. You want to show the world that you judge. Mike Cernovich here, jumping in and ending this man's career. He says, if we're being technical, according to MIT, you work in outreach and now DEI. So wait, this guy's not even an engineer, or at least not in the way he may want us to think, but it's engineer with an asterisk. You work in the engineering department with an asterisk, Sir Carl Reed. So maybe you shouldn't throw stones in a glass house, in a DEI house. You know what I mean? You should be grateful for what you got before you rock the boat too much and you get people like Cernovich revealing things about you. Because DEI is not merit. And anybody in these positions, their validity is suspect. Okay, Carl Reed, don't be throwing stones, man. Maybe don't rock the boat and enjoy your little cushy position. And I replied to this. I did reply. I did not. I don't think I even added anything to the conversation. I don't think I helped anything. In fact, I may have been a little. I don't think my heart was evil when I said. I just wrote black. I didn't add to the conversation at all, but you can follow me on Twitter, x.com / @Gorgonzola if you want to see more amazing takes. More amazing takes from the Anchor Baby on Twitter. So helpful. He asked me a question. He asked, now what prompted him to think I was playing or coaching basketball? I'm just answering the question. Okay. Yeah, I gave him a hard CK too. I didn't even say blat. Okay, I think we can move on. We're loosey-goosey now. Carver, you happy? In the last 15 minutes of the show, we are loosey-goosey now. We started Friday early, and on that, you don't want to miss it. We're flying high tomorrow. Don't miss it. Anchor Baby Airlines, Nick Stream Fridays. We have fun. So you want to hit the notification bell. Yeah, to the point. In caps, no less. I yelled it, no less. Maybe I got to do some examining. But yeah, we're loosey-goosey now. Friday's already here. What else is on my Twitter? Look, you want to follow me on Twitter, Gorgonzola. I have amazing takes. I can't stop talking about the OF girl turned Christian, apparently. The thing with that OF girl, OnlyFans girl turned Christian, is that she adopted all the little Christianese sayings and language. That happens to everyone I know that becomes Christian, quote unquote. They just adopt a new personality. And a little self-reflection, too, I add. As a kid, I judged the shallow Christians and paid for it. I did. I called it. I thought that was Christianity. And I paid for that. Base takes on my Twitter. You want to be following, I guess. Did I get into any other shenanigans on my Twitter? Since we are in the business of promoting it. Look at this guy. Let's end on a good note. Wait, do I have any more show for you? You know, I had this whole thing on aviation safety, but I'll leave it for tomorrow. I think you'll find it fascinating. But let's end on a good note. Not all relationships, it's not all bad. Look, sometimes you're just a guy out in the world and you just make a great decision. And no one can criticize you for it. Even though she's laughing, even though she wants to say, hey, maybe you shouldn't have done it, the wife or her girlfriend in this situation is clearly, she can't help but laugh. When there's a good deal is a good deal. And you'll know what I mean.
Somebody else put that label on there.
That doesn't mean we need it. Why would you buy that much cheese?
Because I was trying to FaceTime you, and you wouldn't answer the phone. So I made an executive decision. I didn't do anything wrong. I saw something labeled at a price, and I bought it.
And how much did you pay for that?
Approximately $10.44.
Oh, for $10.44. Where are my Parmigiano experts in the chat? If you know anything about Parmesan, you know that $10 price tag is ridiculous.
How many pounds of cheese?
That's at least $500 in cheese, or like $300 to $500 in cheese.
Like 20, maybe more.
And what are we going to do?
No clue.
Got 20 pounds of Parmesan. You are really proud of yourself, aren't you?
She can't even complain.
44 pounds of cheese?
Absolute genius. You can't even complain, okay? So, what's the point? I don't know. That's like almost $500 of cheese. And we're ending it on a good note. That's the show, folks, pretty much. Let's see what else. Let's see. Last few minutes of the show. Checking the super chats and all that. Lin Yan Chin, if you're hearing me, I've seen your messages. I will respond to you, sir. You know how it is. You know how it goes. I appreciate that. 𝒂𝒊𝒂𝒎. If you don't remember, we have Ballers on Friday. And I'm just reminded, we have a lottery. We have a golden ticket. And we have a benefactor a benefactor who donated, and we do appreciate him. I think we can say Frederick LA donated a golden ticket to one lucky viewer. How do we do this? Because you're a baller. We don't know who the baller is yet, but he donated a golden ticket. Who gets it? How are we going to decide this? How are we going to decide? You know what? I think I have a snazzy way of deciding this. Tomorrow, don't miss it. Tune in. We're going to decide who's the golden ticket winner of the first class seats. You know, Jabrail and Lin Yan Chin and Carver, due to the generosity of some, are automatic ballers tomorrow in the Ballers Lounge for first class. But that's the I mean, yeah, that's from Frederick. Yes. Don't act surprised. Yeah. That one was from Frederick. We appreciate the support. DJ 2020, Jules Verne, Mark Langlois, and the Hake Report supporting me over there on Rumble. You can follow me there as well. That's rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. What's up, GMD Jim? I'm glad you like that one. Ethically sourced. Funny stuff. I appreciate you supporting me over there on DLive. DLive.tv/Gorgonzola, just like my Twitter. That's that. Truly. Like a baller. I appreciate that, Chris. Folks, that's the show. I'll see y'all tomorrow for American Anchor Baby. Well, that's it for American Anchor Baby. I'll see y'all tomorrow for Nick Stream Fridays. As always, that's fun. And as always, it's a pleasure. So I'm going to say bye. That's the show. That's the Super Chats. That's the calls. That's the topics. See you tomorrow for Friday. Open Live Friday and beyond. Take care. Oh, and Lil Nick, too. He's got to say bye-bye.